Well, welcome back to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. And today I got a film that actually seems to have fallen through some huge cracks. And it's not a 70s or 80s film, it's actually a 90s film. And it was called No Escape. And it starred Ray Liotta, Lance Henriksen, Ernie Hudson, Kevin Dillon, Stuart Wilson, and a whole bunch of other character actors that you would recognize from Down Under, because this thing was shot in Queensland, Australia. Basically, the premise is think The Road Warrior meets Escape from New York meets Terminal Island without women. Because this is an international high security prison that's completely illegal, that dumps guys on an island, and there's two groups. The Outsiders, which are a bunch of savages, led by Stuart Wilson in a completely over-the-top and actually pretty fucking funny performance. And the other section, led by the father, Lance Henriksen, who basically these people are just trying to survive and not hurt each other. And, of course, overlording this whole thing is this warden, played by Michael Lerner, who has an informer on the island. And Ray Liotta is a soldier who was dropped in there because he was ordered to basically annihilate a whole group of women and children for a body count because we were losing a war. Sound fucking familiar? Well, anyway, he shot his commanding officer in a ceremony and was sent over here. So his whole thing is to get off the island. The father's whole thing is to expose what's going on the island because this is completely illegal. And the two groups are clashing. And a lot of action in here, a lot of good stuff. Eventually, some great battle scenes, some, really, really good acting and some great action sequences. I recall, this was at a weird juncture of my life, I think. I don't know what was going on. I might have been borderline homeless at the time, but I did go to some lecture that the director of the film was doing, and he said that, it was produced by Gail Ann Hurd. It was a roadshow picture. Savoy, I believe, put it out. He had said something about, they, really wanted to get like a Schwarzenegger for the lead, but they couldn't. And Ray Liotta had wanted it to branch out and do an action film, and he did. And it really came out good. The whole thing about the evil government overlords watching us, every time these guys tried to make an escape, they were thwarted because they had an informer in the prison. And basically, after a bunch of attempts and after basically Ray Liotta kills Merrick, the Stuart Gordon character, in a pretty hideous way, and there's some pretty hideous deaths in here. Heads getting cut off and all kinds of other shit. He basically finds the informant and basically pitbulls the informant into luring the warden, who was coming with an army to wipe out the prisoners for some reason, to sort of coax the warden to land. And when the warden lands, all his men are taken out by the prisoners. He's shoved out of the ship to stay with the informant, and they take off to alert the world of what's been going on behind their back. The informant, of course, is trying to tell the warden they gotta hide, and the outsiders, what's left of them, are closing in because most of them were decimated in the last battle. Really a good film, and like I said, I really didn't get into most modern stuff back then, but I do remember seeing this. I do remember that I just revisited it the other night on a DVD. The scenery and the photography are amazing. Where they shot it was amazing. Of course, they said it rained all but 6 days while they were there. It was a rough shoot. Ernie Hudson had commented that he basically did the film because he wanted to get out of the country after what happened to Brandon Lee on the set of Crow, because that was close to when this was filmed too. It's worth checking out. I do believe it's out on a Blu-ray. Really, really good film, and there's a really fucking weird thing going on with it, unfortunately. It was set in the futuristic world of 2022. Sadly, Ray Liotta passed away in the year of 2022. I believe he was only 61. His last film was that Cocaine Bear thing that seems to be barnstorming across the country to sort of mixed reviews. I'm going to go see it, of course. You know, A Bear with Cocaine and Ray Liotta, you got to go check it out. But yeah, have to go see that. On other things, let me just push this motherfucker here because this has been going like gangbusters since I announced it. It's really, really been well received. Bob Murawski from Grindhouse Releasing sent me an email saying how much he enjoyed the magazine. The word's out there, so if you want to order a copy, it's $15 shipped. Send it to my PayPal, Mr. 42nd Street Pete at yahoo.com, MR42ND, Street spelled out, Pete spelled out. And leave your address, because some people aren't leaving their addresses and I can't contact them, and all I'm going to do is buy weed with that money. So just realize that. Leave your address. It's not that hard. I'll pay the fee that PayPal takes out because it's worth it, just so everybody gets a shot at this magazine, because the writers worked hard, the interviews are great, the formatting and layout is great. Again, my sincere thanks to John Schatzer, Eric, Angie, and J.D. Wright for setting this whole thing up. And we're already working on number 3, so it's all good. So, again, feel free to order it. I'm sitting on, I've sold, when I announced this thing last, I believe it was last Sunday, I've sold 100 copies so far, which is amazing for, you know, a self-distributed magazine with no website, no Amazon presence, no nothing. It's word of mouth that's selling this, and word of mouth has been really very good, and I appreciate that. So until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.